Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Mistonia's Hope, continuing Linus's route, and we just went to the opera, and, now I guess we're back home with Linus, so. Lord Linus, thank you for everything today. I borrowed a towel at House Ward's townhouse to briskly dry off. Once changed, I returned to the drawing room where Linus waited. Oh, you didn't have to rush. Anyway, I'm the one who owes you thanks. Look at him. Oh, look, tummy peeking out. What a whore. Like, we get them all in there. You know what? I don't think did we ever see Lucas in his, loungy kind of wear? Because we did see Edward in, didn't we see Edward in Alfred's route? And then we did get to see Alfred in just his shirt. I mean, this is basically them in their underwear. Like, excuse me, sir, put some clothes on. And also, look at that slutty little, your belly hanging out a teeny itty bitty fraction of an inch. What the fuck? It's like showing a Victorian man ankles. You must be tired. I prepared black tea and cakes, so make yourself comfy. Then, please excuse me. Saying that politely, I moved to sit down, and that was when it registered I was staggering. I was cold, too, from my fingers to my toes. You've got to be kidding me. Is this... Huh? Is it just me, or is your face a bit red? Did you really catch a cold? Linus voiced the question that had flashed through my own mind before approaching me. I really hate this fucking trope. I really hate it. I got wet, therefore I caught... Like, yes, okay. Like, if your body is trying to warm up, you're more susceptible to catching... But a cold is a virus! You don't catch it just because you got wet! Like, drives me bonkers. Like, was anybody else ill around me? Because it takes several days for a cold to, make you sick, not 5 minutes after you get wet. Otherwise, we'd all be motherfucking sick every time we took a fucking shower. I mean, they don't have vaccines, I guess, so sure, we're more susceptible to getting ill, but God, it drives me bonkers when they're like, I got wet, achoo! Oh my God, I'm dying. I have a fever now. Then you'd be sick every time you went swimming. You'd be sick every time you took a shower. I get it. We're staying wet longer than if you take a shower, you usually dry off. Unless you're like a drip dry person, and then you're wandering around, and you're not wearing wet clothes, so it's uncomfortable. And I get being cold and chilled, but maybe shivering, but now I'm ill, and I'm going to be having such a strong fever, I'm basically going to need to be hospitalized, and I'm going to be out of it for days while he takes care of me. You do not get that ill that fast. Maybe I just have a really good immune system, because when I get that, I'm basically dead. It's either yeah, okay, I feel a little stuffed up, but I'm fine, or I'm that sick where I'm basically passed out. Not counting the times I black out. That's totally different. That's not because I'm that's just, nobody knows what that is. But you know what I mean? I have had flus and things that severe when I've gotten stomach flus and everything where I'm basically almost dead. But that's not normal. It's nitpicky. And I know they're just putting it in so that he can take care of us or whatever, but it's just... Can we stop perpetuating that when you get wet, you get ill? Seriously, this isn't 1762. Actually, it might be here, so fair enough, I guess. Anyway. Sorry, let me touch you quickly. Huh? He scared me, but his hand's cool and pleasant. Despite myself, I thought that, and then... Oh, looks like what you need isn't tea and cakes, but a place to rest. Here we go. Not even giving me a chance to respond, Linus lifted me up into his arms. I kind of appreciate the Hulkman at it. Because, I'm sure he's taller than us because whatever. But he's got such a sweet little baby face. And, 21. He's still a baby. Let's be real. But, she's only, 19. But the fact that then he's let me heft you up. And it's I wouldn't think that you could do that. Oh, I don't know. You know what it is? It's because of his baby face. Like, I'm sure they're going to show it. He's going to be like a foot taller than us or some shit. But he just seems like our height. You know, he just seems like little. Doesn't mean he's not strong, but it's like one of those. Then when he strongmans you and lifts you up, you're like, oh, impressive. Didn't see that coming. So I'll give him credit for that. So, Lord Linus, I'm really sorry for carrying you without warning, but it's faster to carry you to bed this way. So bear with me. It's faster to carry us to bed. Sir, I might be dying of a cold now because I got wet. Apparently, I made out of paper mache. Though he looked apologetic, the force in his arms didn't falter. Unable to resist, I could only resign myself to being carried away. I mean, I get it if they're doing it like, oh, I'm shivering and a little like, whew, I'm a little cold because ye olde times. So he's like, quick, let me get you to rest and warm you up or whatever. Sure, but like, I'm so tired of the trope where like we get wet and then we're dying. Like, but it's not. Ugh. Though I changed into the nightwear he'd given me, I dragged my feet about borrowing a bed, even with Linus's forcefulness. I can't presume upon your generosity this way. If you allow me to borrow a carriage, I can rest back at the Bernstein residence. And when he put me to bed, I still protested out of reservation, but Linus shook his head. If I let you go back in this state, I'll lose all trust Ed has in me for real this time. But if you don't let me go back, he's going to think you kidnapped me. Above all, I don't want to risk letting you go right now, being so weak. Don't worry, I'll send a message to House Bernstein. Until you make a full recovery, please rest and recuperate here. I mean, again, I get it. It's so that we can spend more time with him and then he has to take care of us and whatever. But it's just, this is not how it works. Okay? It's just not how any of this works. Again, yes, are you going to be more susceptible if your body is like trying to fight off being frozen to death and like wet and cold and then you get more susceptible to like getting a virus? Sure, but you still have to get said virus. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that from getting wet. You know what I mean? Like, God. I understand. I don't know why we keep doing this in games. Every fucking game. And it's like, and it's always us. I mean, again, I get it. They're like trying to shove a reason in and this is the best thing you can think of. I get it. But it's a pet peeve, I guess. Like, no. Again, we are smart enough to not subscribe to shit that people in the 1700s would like. When you get ill, we don't need to get leeches. You are not possessed. You know what I mean? What the fuck? Since he insisted even now, I had to agree. Not to mention that I also appreciated the opportunity to infiltrate House Ward. Although I certainly didn't have the energy for probing around right now. My head's all foggy. I'll think about it in the morning. If Linus is starting to have feelings for me, how can I exploit... I gotta sneeze. I have to sneeze, but it won't come out. You know, when your nose is all tickly and you're like, I'm gonna sneeze, and then it's just... and then it's tickly, and then it's slowly fading away, but it's like really annoying, and I want to sneeze, but I can't. Fuck, that's annoying. That was as far as my train of thought got. I sank into the ocean of sleep. The next thing I knew, I was in a dream. He's groaning. His fever's still high, too. Hey, brother, would a wet towel help? I mean, okay, I think it's kind of... God damn, our brother's so fucking fine. You can't... Distracted. I do... Okay, I don't like how, we're sick because we got wet. Good God. But I like that they did the parallel with, like, she's going to remember taking care of him when he was ill, and now he's taking care of us, and like, oh, that's kind of cute, you know? So, like, I'll give him that. Also, now it's a reason for you to stay in his house and, like, you know, get to know him a little bit better, and then he takes care of you, and maybe it'll have him fall for you, and you can investigate his house a little more. Like, we gotta get us into his sphere of existence somehow. Like, with Alfred, it was like, okay, I'm gonna join your team, and then we're gonna fall in love, even though you know who I am, and I'm gonna stab you. You know what I mean? That made sense. With Lucas, it was like, oh, someone needs to help him because something happened to his only servant, so we're the only one that can, like, tolerate him and he can tolerate us type of a thing. And that's how we got into a sphere of existence. This is the way they're manipulating us into Linus. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I get they had to do something and it makes sense in that respect, but it's one of those like, but why do we keep perpetuating that when you get wet, you get ill? Like, what? You know? Like, all right, fine. I know I just got to deal with it for plot reasons, but this is the weakest part of this game is the like, everything else you're like, okay, sure, it makes sense. I got wet, so I'm sick. I mean, all right, I get why you did it, but that doesn't mean I don't think you should have to sit in the corner for 5 minutes and think about what you've done. But then you give us this where it's like full circle, where it's like, we took care of him, where he's taking care of us. Oh, all right, all right, all right. Still 5 minutes, but at least you don't have to sit there for the full hour-long part. Yep, make sure to ring it thoroughly. The mother taught you the right technique, didn't she? Like this, right? What else would help? He looks like he's in so much pain. Isn't there more I can do for him? Other than this, best you can do is probably change the towel from time to time. His wounds have been seen to, so as long as he gets plenty of rest, he should recover. And this, okay, he wasn't ill. Well, I mean, he was injured, but still. Okay. But wait, brother. I just remembered that important thing. I've got to do the thing Mother taught me. The spell that helps you get all better? Yeah, that one. I'll wish for him to get better as soon as possible. And then he could go and have my family killed. Yay! Smile, ding! It's like a really bad advertisement. Like, I'll make him all better so he can go rat out my family. Smile with a little sparkle on your teeth and the little thumbs up. You can picture it in your head. It's a really bad advertisement for helping people, but no more bad dreams. They've gone away. Shortly dawn will come, lighting up the day. Wave goodbye to the quiet moon. Send a kiss to the bright sun soon. My dear, my precious, I'll bring dawn with me, so may you rest till then, peaceful and carefree. My dream self clasped the hand of the suffering boy. I fervently repeated the rhyme Mother had taught me. I'm going to guarantee you we're going to hear him repeating that rhyme. And we're going to know, yes. Yep. Wave goodbye to the quiet moon. Send a kiss to the bright sun soon. Mother? I don't think it's your mother. In the limbo between dream and reality, I heard a voice and listened carefully. The familiar words were reassuring, but something was off, because it's Linus. I told you. As soon as she started repeating the lines, I'm like, he's going to be repeating it to us. My dear, my precious, I'll bring dawn with me, so may you rest till then, peaceful and carefree. And that's how she's going to know. Absolutely, Liam is Linus. The moment I recognized that Linus was the one chanting the rhyme, my hand grew hot. There was a raging torrent within my heart that I never felt until now. Something ran berserk inside me, activating my phase sight. Ooh, is this where we... Like, we're only in chapter 2. Is he gonna... Okay, like, to be fair, we revealed ourselves to Alfred pretty early in his route. So it might have been, like, at the end of chapter 1, beginning of chapter 2. Or somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't remember where we were. And then Lucas, we kind of kept it secret longer, but we suspected maybe he knew, and he kind of figured it out himself. So it's not like we don't tell them who we are till the very end. Like, they kind of know earlier on. So I wouldn't be surprised if right now is the time where all of a sudden he figures out who we are. Two emotions clashed violently. I couldn't afford to use my power here, yet I wanted to wreck everything surrounding me. I'll just do it. I'll use my face sight and rip out every detail Linus knows about 8 years ago. I don't care if it exposes my identity. Unable to resist the impulse searing my body, I reached out toward Linus by my side, but... Oh. She's gonna reach out to... Oh, look at the little CG of him, like... So, okay, maybe we're not going to reveal it here yet. Oh, look at him brushing her head with it. Oh, how cute. Before I touched him, his hand brushed my forehead. It's all right. Everything's all right. It's kind of sweet that he's sitting beside us, though. Like, yes, he's taking care of us, but he has servants that can be like, check on her, but he's the one sitting by our side. That's adorable. No more bad dreams. They've gone away. Shortly dawn will come, lighting up the day. Like he was comforting a child, Linus tenderly stroked my hair as he repeated the good luck spell. Wave goodbye to the quiet moon. Send a kiss to the bright sun soon. Stop. My dear, my precious, I will bring dawn with me, so may you rest till then, peaceful and carefree. Stop it already. Surrounded by his softness and warmth, my violent feelings slowly subsided. Emotions I'd long buried away overflowed in their stead. Liam, he'd been a rare guest from the outside world. At first I only interacted with him out of pure curiosity and sympathy. But his smile had been so brilliant, nothing could tie him down. Between the two of us, I was likely the first to sprout a bud of love. I liked you. I liked you so much. It's kind of adorable, because this is in a way, the childhood friend route, sort of, but also the first love. I don't know. I can't think of another game where we've had, people that we met in childhood or whatever. I'm trying to think of one where it's we've had our childhood friends, and then we end up falling in love with them, but we've never been in love with them. They've always been in love with us. And that's kind of the way Linus is. But also, I feel like John would kind of fit into that category too. Because we don't really... I don't know how long we knew him before, everything happened. We've known him for the last 8 years. And he's definitely got feelings for us. And that fits more into the stereotypical childhood friend route, where we've known each other for a while, he's had feelings for us for a while, and then all of a sudden we're going to be like, oh, wait, I love you. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? But, Linus is, a childhood friend that disappeared for 8 fucking years. We haven't seen him. We met him one little brief time. He's been in love with us for the whole time, thinking about us, but he thinks we're dead. And we forgot about him, but we're realizing now, wait, I remember you, and oh, you were my first crush. And that's kind of cute. It's a little different, Because I can't think of it. I mean, I'm sure we've had a game. I'm sure there's plenty that have a trope like this with the, first crush, our first love that we lose contact with and then we find later on. But I can't think of really one. And I'm sure we've played games like that. You know what I mean? But I just don't think it's not something we see as often as the childhood friend who's in love with you, and then you all of a sudden are like, and she's totally clueless about it. I feel like this we don't get a lot, if ever. What games have we had that we've had a trope kind of like this? Because I can't really, I think they usually fit more in the childhood friend that we've known for a while, not somebody we lost and forgot about. Again, I'm sure we've had some here and there, but, well, anyway. Wanting to erase that truth, I locked it away in the darkest corner of my heart. Now the locked door is opened against my will, but I like the dynamic here. It's cute. I like what they're doing. My face I hand cooled, no longer activating. Instead, hot tears trickled down my cheeks. Space, are you crying? If I opened my mouth, I feared I might scream, so I couldn't say anything. I lost everything in my life that night 8 years ago. When my heart was on the verge of collapse, the betrayal was the final straw. My heart couldn't handle it. That was why I'd shoved everything about him out of my mind, from my affection to our happy memories. I averted my eyes from my feelings, clinging only to the fact that the boy I rescued had betrayed me. I wish I never remembered that I liked you. I wanted to just hate you as a traitor. Why did you have to do this to me? I'll be here for you until you find sleep, so it's all right. You can relax and rest. His voice and touch pained me down to my soul. Even then, a certain sentence echoed over and over in my head like a curse. Linus is Liam. There's no mistaking it. That spell was passed down through my mother's family. Only our family knew of it. There was no way for him to learn it unless he was Liam. Yes, there's no mistaking it. I made a full recovery within a few days. It was time I returned to the Bernsteins, and to communicate that, I went out to look for Linus. I came over because I thought I heard some voices. But what in the world is going on? Let's catch him! Oh, they're kids. Yeah! In front of the estate entrance were children, likely members of House Ward playing some version of tag, I suppose?
Yeah! Gotcha! No, not yet! You won't take me down that easily!
This feels too intense for tag. It's like they're attacking each other for real. The children were kicking and punching as they ran. They squared off solemnly with auras that might even classify as bloodlust. Well, they are Kusith if they're part of the family, so... Hey there, how are you doing? Your complexion looks a lot better now. Why are you teaching Child Fight Club? Oh, yes, thanks all to your kindness. I'm in good health now. I hadn't noticed Linus come to my side. When he spoke, my shoulders almost jumped, but I suppressed it somehow. He'd visited my room many times to nurse me, but ever since I confirmed his identity, I hadn't been able to look him in the eye. Is this a kind of training by any chance? Trying to smooth over my awkwardness, I turned to the children. Linus answered dutifully. Yeah, it is. In House Ward, we teach our members the art of war through childhood games just like this. Art of War! By kids beating... I mean... To be fair, I can't really hate on him for being like, we teach our members the art of war through kicking and punching while playing tag. I mean, a lot of us played dodgeball as a kid, and I feel like that's the art of war right there. I mean, hurling fucking plastic spheres as hard as you can at somebody. None of that was not gentle. This was not hurling balloons. Those fuckers hurt. And unless you were an athletic popular kid, you were getting beamed with those motherfuckers the worst. Damn it. You know, the only good days in like gym or PE classes were when you played with that little tarp thingy. It was like the little, that looked like a circus tent. Does anybody remember that? Am I just that motherfucking old? Where like, it was like a rainbow fucking, like, look like a circus tent thing, and you'd like everybody would lift it up, and then you'd go run inside, and it was and it was like, you know, like, all right, whatever. It was like a giant fucking parachute thing, but you like, but with the group, with the class and the teachers, you had a couple classes or whatever, and you'd all kind of like lift it up as high as you could in the air, and the air would get underneath it, and then you'd climb inside of it, and it would come down, and it was kind of fun, and it was like, that was the fun PE days. You know? Because you can't even have those little... Didn't they have those little, like... they were, like... Okay, so, like... They weren't, like, skateboards, but they were square, and they had little handles on the side and wheels on the bottom, right? And you could sit on them and scoot around. But, like, those things could, like, rip off your motherfucking fingers if you, like, weren't holding on right, or you tipped them over. Like, you know what I mean? You could still get hurt, because those wheels could crush your fucking fingers. But they had those little scooty things, which are almost like the little things that you lay on, but they're not as long, obviously, that you like to, if you're going to slide under a car, if you're a mechanic, but, you know, they were just butt boards. They were just square. Why am I having fucking gym trigger flashbacks? Like, and like remembering all the weird shit. Huh. I'm sure we did other stuff in gym, like the normal shit, but I don't know, like, dodgeball. Yeah, dodgeball's the art of war right there. I mean, Jesus Christ. I see. They're strengthening their bonds while training. It should be safe to say that the entire household are formidable opponents. She's like, I'm gonna have to kill all these kids. Well, that sucks. As their enemy, I committed that to memory. A moment later, the children gathered near us.
Lord Lanus, please train with us. You too, miss.
Huh? Sure, I don't mind, but she can't join. She's only just recovered, and she's a guest.
But weren't you the one who said that we should always train we shouldn't always train with the same lineup? That we should spar with new people sometimes?
You're like, I love the fact that, okay, I'm not sure if I love or hate these kids because, like, good for them for being like, gender doesn't matter. We'll spar with anybody. Come on, lady. But also, the fuck? I am a lady. I'm not gonna spar with you. What the hell? But also, again, good for feminist kids. You know what I mean? Like, they're like, come on, maid lady, let me kick your ass. And you're like, I'll kick your ass, you little punk. You know what I mean? So, like, good for the kids for not caring. They're just like, we'll fight with anybody because anybody is capable of kicking and punching and fighting. Good for you. I'm proud of you. But also, how dare you? As I watched the insistent children, I thought this might be a good chance to observe House Ward's fighting style, even if they were kids. I don't mind. I'm already up and about. I honestly didn't expect that even. I honestly didn't expect that even you'd be eager. What to do? Though he seemed torn, perhaps my interest made up his mind because soon he nodded. Okay, girl, we have to, like, half our skills. Like, you're capable. Are you capable of taking down Linus? Maybe not. But you can't even pretend or try your hardest. Okay, you have to go at it like a third. Okay, like a third or less. Show that you have some skill, but don't show all of your talent to him. Don't throw all your cards on the table. You keep some of those wild cards to yourself, okay? You keep those draw fours until the end when you really fuck the opponent playing Uno, alright? Okay? We can train, but on a few conditions. First, I'll be the one running away. She's not used to our methods, so let's switch up to normal tag and all of you work with her.
Yes, sir!
They replied like a miniature army and gave me the rundown. The kids would corner Linus. I would catch him. Got it. You can count on me. Okay, so now we're just playing tag. Now we're not really training. We're just running around playing tag. I mean, I guess that's training your body for long runs, I guess. Yeah, all right, shall we? Once Linus saw the children and I had finished our strategy meeting, he sprinted off. By the looks of it, he's going easy on me. He's quick and agile nonetheless. I started after him, tracking him with my eyes, but if this were a simple chase, I knew I'd probably never catch him. But that was when one of the children stood in front of Linus to block his path. They're good. Now's my Linus slowed to change directions, and hot on his heels I reached out. I thought I would catch him easily, but then... That's not gonna work. Too slow. Huh? The next thing I knew, Linus had tripped me and my world was turned upside down. What the fuck? Like, part of me is like, good for him not giving a fuck and just tripping me, but also rude. Of course, Linus didn't slam me to the ground. He reached out to steady me just before I toppled over. I stared at him, slack-jawed, and then this is where you grab him and you're like, but I caught you because you tripped me, and don't underestimate a lady. No, I stared at his radiant smile against the backdrop of the sun, seeing the past. Your ears didn't come out, huh? Huh? Wait, my ears? I almost clamped my hand over my mouth. What in the world did I just blurt? You...
Oi, Linus, caught ya!
Whoa! Both of us were rooted to our spots, and using that opening, the children leaped at Linus. The game of tag ended all too quickly. Okay, so here's the thing. I feel like he's going to be like, how did you know about my ears? We had that conversation with you in the garden. Now, I understand if you didn't go and do that scene, you wouldn't know about his ears, right? However, earlier, I think when we were at the Opera House and we had a flashback, we flashed back to that conversation. So, it's a little odd. Because I feel like they're playing this whole game on the, how do you know about my ears? Because they do not know if you saw that scene with him in the garden. And then this would be her revealing she knows he's Liam because she saw Liam's ears and now she makes that comment. And that would be a catch. However, now, like, this. And we're gonna have to see how it works out. But right now I'm like, ooh, did you get lazy writing? Like, I understand you're in a weird loop here where you're like, ah, shit, what do we do? But to me, it kind of takes you out and goes, well, wait, this doesn't make any fucking sense. We saw his ears. He shouldn't. I mean, he might be shocked about us mentioning them because he's like, oh, don't pretend you didn't see him, whatever. And we're like, okay, sure. I don't know if we had that conversation, but we're just like, okay. But I think they're going to play it off like, how did you know? And it's like, we saw them in the garden. You shouldn't be sus that I know I saw them. You know what I mean? But if the game refers to that garden scene and you didn't see that scene, you didn't play that. So I feel like in that garden scene, they should not have shown his ears at all. It should have just been preparing for the ball, whatever. We should never have noticed them at all. Right? Because then this would make more sense for the whole thing, whether you saw that scene or not. You can't have crucial information pop out in a scene that people might not see and then later reference that crucial information as if that never happened when it did happen. You know what I mean? Like, if you never saw that scene and he's like, how did you know? Okay, then it makes sense. Then this flows perfectly. And that flashback is odd because you're like, oh, we must have missed that scene or something. But that's okay. We're flashing back to a conversation that you don't remember ever having with him, but it's fine. You can go, I probably missed that scene somewhere. Fine. Not a big deal. You know what I mean? But playing that scene and now being here and him acting like we never had that is like, well, that's fucking disjointing and weird. So, like, I feel like somebody should have thought of that when they were doing this and been like, it doesn't make sense. Because if you play that scene, which it exists, so you're going to see it at some point, this doesn't make sense. And you can't go, well, people will go back and play it later. You have to think of, if people play all the scenes with Linus and you see everything, does this fucking make sense? And the answer is fucking no. Him being shocked that we know about his ears. You know what I mean? We saw them. What the fuck? And now this is going to reveal who we are when we really shouldn't. You know? So, I don't know. I was giving the game credit for all the things, but like, I don't know. Right now, Linus, your route's going to be the weakest for the fact that, one, we're using the I got wet, therefore I almost died of illness. Okay, she didn't get that sick, but still. Okay, I hate that trope, but fine. But the fact that nobody noticed this, nobody thought about this? Like, I mean, I guess we're going to see how it plays out. But right now it feels like they're going to act like there's no way she should know. And it's like, but did we all collectively get amnesia about that scene? You know what I mean? So, Both of us were rooted to our spots, and using that opening, the children leaped at Linus. The game of tag ended all too quickly. I think I read that. As I gazed at Linus, roughhousing with his house fellows, I was forced to face the truth. When he's around me, no matter what I do, my memories keep getting in the way. Despairingly, I realized that once a sealed door had been opened, it wouldn't be so easy to close again. Yeah, I mean, again, I guess it really depends how they're going to play that off, but if they play it off as soon as you knew that, I knew, because only Spacey knew that, and it's like, no, again, we saw it in the garden, and I don't like the discontinuity that you're playing here, so they really should have done something different with that garden scene. After returning to House Bernstein, I immediately volunteered to run errands in the city and sped outside again. There was something I had to tell John, fast. I'd messaged him with my pocket watch, so when I arrived at the park, I found John already waiting. I sprinted over to him. John, Linus is definitely the child from back then. He said something that only that boy would have known.
Got it. Then you should distance yourself from Ward immediately.
Huh? Why do you say that?
You haven't noticed. Lady, you're white as a sheet.
Now that's rude. I'm fine. I'd intended it to be an assertive retort, but my voice sounded feebler than I expected. The fact that John's only response was to tell me to distance myself means that he read me like a book. He knows I'm shaken. I couldn't work up the courage to confide in him about the special feelings I remembered. Thankfully, John filled the silence.
I've also got news for you. Remember the pickpocket child you came across? My investigation tells me that he might be related to the Twilight Ravens in some way.
I kind of figured that. With that organization? The Ravens announced that they're going to attack the exhibition. Do I have that right?
You do. I don't know whether they're regulated enough to be called an organization. Still, there may be merit in joining forces. They proclaim to be anti-royalists, so their ultimate goal should be similar to ours. It's not a bad idea, right?
Right. If we can find any leads about ways to contact them, I'll think about it. Maybe through that child, if we can locate him. Then if things go smoothly, we'll have a way to reach the Queen and finish this. Are we going to find out that Alfred is part of the race again in every route? Is that why we had to do his route first? Because every route they're going to spoil that for us? You know what I mean? I feel like some of them they should have kept it quiet, but...
Yeah, agreed.
Seeing John's nod, I sucked in a deep breath. This time I made my declaration firmly. I'll bring down the hammer of retribution on Linus. I've unequivocally determined him to be a target of my revenge. I made my announcement in part to come to terms with my feelings and move forward. John didn't say anything this time. However, I had the feeling that I heard the light flapping of a bird's wings and faint footsteps in the distance. Oh, is that our brother? Why does it look like our brother's shadow? I don't know who it is.
Lord Linus, we have an opportunity to find a lead. The Twilight Ravens are taking action.
You can't really tell because it didn't have a hat. It just had somebody had short hair. I mean, let's see.
Finally. Okay, we'll pull out all the stops. I'll definitely catch you with my own hands.
Because it's not Linus, because you only had the hair, you didn't have the little scruffy hair sticking out the side, and he wasn't wearing, well, you couldn't tell if he was wearing a hat, but... The Five Houses conference took place like any other day, but today my task was cleaning up afterward. By the time I entered, only 3 members remained. It could have been Edward. Could have been. I mean, it definitely was not Ascot. Because the way the hair was, you didn't see the little swoopies on the side. You only kind of saw the front thing. So, And it's not Lucas because you would have seen a hood. The only my brother's shadow was the first thing I thought of. So, but it could have been Edward, I suppose. I don't think so though, because see how his hair kind of swoops out on the right side. Well, his right, our left. The person just had kind of little bang things, but it just didn't look like his hair. It's definitely not Alfred's hair. It could be someone else that has a sprite that we've never met or a side character. I don't think it was Leonardo. It's definitely not Ascot or Lily or anybody. So the only person I could think of was my brother, but then my brother has been alive the whole time? Huh. Interesting. It's common for Lucas to go home right away, but it's rare for Linus to leave so early. It worked out in my favor. Linus was now a target for my revenge, but I hadn't yet formed a plan, so avoiding him was perhaps beneficial. I thought through it as I put away the cups on the table. That was when I sensed eyes on me. Ascot? I hope he isn't planning on saying something weird again. I think everything that comes out of his mouth is weird. That's why we love him. His suggestive comments often dragged me into troublesome conversations. My wariness rose, but I was spared Ascot's attention this time. Out of curiosity, how's the anti-royalist child we caught at the opera doing now?
Why do you ask? Are you going to propose we dump him before Her Majesty again?
Of course not. Even if I did, I doubt the Queen would be interested in him now. I only asked because I thought a certain miss might be concerned about his situation. Ascot's gaze fell on me like a guillotine. He dragged me into the conversation, all right, though it was an unexpected one. Oh, I see. That reminds me, you've met that child twice. You must be worried about him. See, Edward's a sweetheart. I don't know what Ascot's trying to achieve, but honestly, this is a good turn of events. I certainly hadn't forgotten John's suggestion to join forces with the Twilight Ravens.
I've also got news for you. Remember the pickpocket child you came across? My investigation tells me that he might be related to the Twilight Ravens in some way.
With that organization? The Ravens announced that they're going to attack the exhibition. Do I have that right?
You do. I don't know whether they're regulated enough to be called an organization. Still, there may be merit in joining forces.
Are you okay? You won't let me pet you, but I want to get those damn pin feathers out. You drive me bonkers with them. You have so many of them. Yeah, that's why you're itching your head so much. They're itchy. I want to help you. I don't have nails right now, though. If I steered this conversation well, I might be able to come into contact with the Twilight Ravens very soon. Caution was paramount. You're also very bitey. You're very bitey lately. You want petties and attention, but then you bite because your pin feathers hurt. And you know I'm going to try to get them out. Yeah, I know. There's so many of them in the back of your neck and all over your head. And I can only pet your head. I'm not supposed to pet your body. You don't pet birdies on the body because it makes them think you're their lover and then they get all horny and shit. We're not doing that. You're my baby boo. That's inappropriate. We don't do inappropriate things. We're not trying to make you think I'm your girlfriend. That's gross. As your mommy lady. So I can only pet your heads. We don't pet the bodies. We poke you in the belly sometimes when we can get to it because you got a cute fat tum-tums. But, oh, I pet your beakies. Okay, you want petties, but then you bite. I know. You're mean. You're mean. It was like, oh, pet bite. Pet bite. You're such a cat sometimes. I swear to God. Who needs cats when you have birds? You need... Okay. All right. Forces me to pet him, then he shrieks and bites me viciously, and then he forces me to pet him, and then he shrieks. Don't bite. I can't help it. You have pin feathers. If you'd let me get them out, they wouldn't hurt, and you wouldn't have to bite me. I'm such a jackass. Like, truthfully, I've been worried sick for him. He's barely school-aged, yet was forced to resort to crime to survive. Rationally, I know that he's in good hands with my lord and Lord Alfred, but I was still concerned about his well-being. Partially relaxing my iron mask, as Evelyn put it, I focused on forming an anxious air as I turned my face downward slightly. No one can blame you for thinking that way. Both the theft and the incident at the opera house happened before your very eyes. Look at his sad little face. He's so sad for us. Oh. I want to know what secrets you hide, because you seem like the sweetest little dandelion. I've got it. If you like, why don't you go check on him? At the moment, he's residing in one of the almshouses under my care. Yes, my ideal scenario. The corners of my mouth almost lifted of their own accord. To hide that, I gingerly clasped my hands together before my chest. If you'd allow me, my lord, I'd be most grateful. That said, I may not be a welcome visitor. You make a good point there. The rumors say that during the theft you slammed him hard onto the ground. I wouldn't say slammed. He was resisting, so I was forced to restrain him, but I didn't handle him any more than was necessary. You'd be like, I tripped him and he fell. I calmly refuted Ascot's teasing, and without delay, Edward came to my defense as well. I've heard that the child was the first to use force. Furthermore, she took action to protect him. Handing him to the yard was a prudent decision, and that's why he won't resent you. In fact, he even said that you were his savior. I mean, I heard the shit that Linus was saying to him, so... It appeared Edward had asked the child himself for a detailed account of the theft incident. Judging by his word choice, he must have learned about what Linus tried to do, too. I'm very relieved to hear that. I have plans to visit the city for household shopping, so if I may, I will go see him myself. Please do. That would be wonderful. I'll inform Nick that you'll be late coming back because of a detour to the almshouse. Thank you very much. As I voiced my gratitude, I also glanced at Alfred, since it was he who technically captured the child during the opera house incident. He didn't look to disagree or have any remarks to add. If he'd left the boy's fate to Edward, I wouldn't think much of it either. I've got to tell John, too. Since I'm lucky enough to have an excuse to come back late, I'll drop by Goneril's. Deciding I'd contact him with my pocket watch before I left, I continued tidying the parlor. When I went out for my errands, I began with the almshouse before I accumulated baggage. Edward said that the child has a favorable opinion of me, but will he tell me honestly about the Twilight Ravens if I ask? I couldn't afford to gamble by revealing my identity. Portraying an open-minded attitude might not be enough either. During my brooding, a newspaper carried by the wind stopped at my feet. I read the words Twilight Ravens and picked it up on instinct. The Twilight Ravens take to the skies. Are the flyers of the raid credible? I didn't find any novel information in the article, but judging by the tone, this group weren't villains in the eyes of the citizens. What feats will they accomplish? Now that's a sentence that'll land the author in trouble if the Queen or Five Houses chance upon it. Despite myself, I became so absorbed in the article's contents that I was oblivious to the approaching steps till they stopped before me. Is it Linus? Because it's, okay, it can't be Alfred. It can't be Edward, and it can't be Ascot because they were there. And Lucas, why the fuck would... Well, it could be Lucas, actually, because we know he drops off gifts to the almshouses as the Blue Robin, but he doesn't do it himself. Or does he? I'm going to assume it's Linus because it's his route to space. What are you doing here? Oh, yep. Startled, I whipped up my head to see Linus standing there like, what the fuck? Cock blocked! He did disappear awfully early from the estate today. He came here? But why? When I saw him, I was forced to have the unwelcome realization that I wasn't ready to view him as an enemy yet. I feigned calmness. I heard from Lord Edward that the pickpocket boy from back then is residing here. I came to see him. True. From Ed, huh? I see. But why do you need to see him? Well, I was about to answer when I noticed Linus scanning the newspaper in my hands. Oh, one wrong step and I may end up treading into dangerous waters. Linus had a duty to decimate anti-royalists. There was no way a man like him wouldn't investigate the Twilight Ravens. He must have also obtained the intel that the child was affiliated with the Twilight Ravens in some way. It's okay. I'm still in control. As long as I continue my naive compassion act, he should be none the wiser about my true motive. Thinking that, I concentrated on sounding kind and sweet as I repeated the explanation I'd given to Edward, with a few tweaks. I'm worried about that boy. To be involved in crime despite his young age must be due to the harsh environment he lived in. Since Lord Edward took the child under his protection, I believe he has a peaceful life ahead, but I wanted to see for myself. It was a faultless answer from a caring girl. Or so I thought, but Linus stared coldly. It's too soft. The seeds of hostility don't disappear so easily. The only solution is to root them out without exception. But if useful as tools, keeping them alive is the right choice. In that sense, I'm thankful. After saying that, Linus finally put up something that resembled a smile, but it turned out to herald him snatching the newspaper from my hands. You mustn't read silly stuff like this. It's almost like you glorify resenting the Queen. Shredding the paper he'd seized, he let the wind scatter the fragments. It was an unspoken threat. Rebels would share that same fate, and you're like, it was on the ground and I was picking it up because we don't fucking litter, Linus! Shredding it and throwing it to the wind makes it harder to pick up the garbage. It's biodegradable because it's paper, but like, still, this is why we can't have nice things, Litterbug. Jesus. Seriously, I wish she would say that to him. I wish she'd be like, it was on the ground, so I was picking it up to dispose of it properly, unlike you, Litterbug Linus. The aura around him is the same as when he tried to snap that child's legs, but compared to back then, his matter-of-fact tone was blood-curdling. But was it just his voice that was scaring me? Lord Linus, you're very loyal to Her Majesty. You're the ideal citizen, and I respect you for that. The atmosphere remained tense. Wanting to soften it even a little, I tried flattery. But Linus wasn't affected as he stepped closer. Overwhelmed by his oppressive presence, I shifted backward. Linus grabbed my hand, refusing to let me slip away. Are you saying that you aren't? Huh? He peered into my face at point-blank range, and I almost lost my composure. This was when I became aware of one possibility. Linus may already have doubts about my identity. That's why he feels so terrifying. Right. When I was playing tag at the Ward Townhouse, I accidentally ran my mouth and said something hinting at the past. No! Yes! Like a week ago passed, not 8 years ago passed. Game, don't piss me off. Thinking back now, Linus had frowned, looking conflicted when I brought up his ears. If his suspicion had already turned to conviction again, don't have that scene if you're gonna do this and make it a plot point. You know what I mean? If you're gonna make the ear thing be a plot point to 8 years ago and not a week ago, don't bring that up. Have her remember it in her like dreams or something and be like, oh my God, wait a minute. But like, you can't bring it up in the modern time, like in present times, and then act like that didn't happen and now he's all suspicious of us, because it doesn't make fucking sense for him to be suspicious of us. I'm suspicious of you. Why? Because I talked about your ears. I saw them a week ago, dumb fuck. Slap him. Get with the program. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of just ruins the whole... everything about this would be perfect and oh my God, dramatic and whatever if we didn't have that scene. If we didn't have that motherfucking scene. So that scene should not have pertinent information or be, you know what I mean? Like, it should just be kind of a throwaway scene where, like, if we see it, we see it. If we don't, we don't. But it should never be, if you see it, plot points later on in the game aren't going to make sense. That should never be the case. So whoever wrote Linus's route kind of gets an F. Because, well, the rest of it might be great. You're getting an F on that instance, okay? Because you put in a scene that reveals pertinent information that then later we're going to have to pretend we didn't see that scene, and that doesn't, because it doesn't make sense at all. And I can't do that. I've seen it. I know this is going to piss me off now. He's going to be like, the only way you could have known is because, and it's like, I saw them last week. How did you forget your own plot? As someone who forgets things 2 days after we played it, I'm like, when did this happen? I don't remember that happening. But if I remember it, that tells you that you get an F. Okay? Because, again, most of the time I'm like, oh, did we know this? And someone would be like, yeah, they explained it an hour before you read that part. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Okay, so if I forget, then okay, I get you forgot. Okay, but if I remember it, you should have remembered it. Come on. My brain is like a sieve. I'm going to forget fucking everything. But I didn't. So don't make me mad. But you've already made me mad. So I got to have to take a point off for Linus's route already because of that. Because it's like, it might be a great route, but you're making me mad with your plot inconsistencies. And not even like, well, okay, it doesn't quite make, like, look, we have some games where you're like, the whole plot doesn't make motherfucking sense, but whatever. And it does kind of take away some of the enjoyment, I guess. You're like, I mean, would I rate the game 10 out of 10? Yeah, we had fun, but like, plot was like a 3 out of 10. But like, when you have done so good on this game, you know, and everything's kind of fits, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you leave a gaping fucking hole like this, where it's like, it makes no sense. It's not even a hole. It's just a gaping, like, you have 3 pieces stacked on top of each other here. That's not how it works. You can't do that. You can't give us crucial information and then tell us just but pretend you didn't know that. And then act like we're suspicious because we knew about his ears when we saw them a week ago. You know what I mean? And it's not like we saw them and he didn't know, where we could be like, oh, I saw you in the garden and I saw you. I mean, they should have done it like that, where he didn't know we saw them, so we could brush it off and be like, but I saw them, whatever. But like, but also again, when we were at the opera house, we flashed back to that conversation. So if you had never seen that scene, you'd be like, when did we have this conversation with him? All right, I guess I missed a scene, but okay. And that's not as important, but it's still weird because you're like, in the opera house, you expected that we've seen that scene, so the flashback would make sense. And that's a minor thing. If you hadn't seen that scene, you'd be like, oh, I must have missed something. Okay. But the game is implying that you saw that by flashing back. And then an hour later, it's implying that you never saw that scene because that's why he's suspicious you didn't know about his ears, and the only way you could have known is if you were that girl from 8 years ago. But the scene before, you gave me a flashback to the scene that I'm supposed to have not seen? You can't do it both ways. Like, That's annoying. I don't like it. It's gonna make me mad now because now he's like upset with us and suspicious of us for no fucking reason. This doesn't make sense. Like, I guess I wish we hadn't seen that scene. I guess I wish that we had just started with our save file and not played that scene at all because it would make more sense and I wouldn't be annoyed, you know? But then we might have gone back and played those and I would have been like, but if we saw his ears, why was he I guess they didn't want us to see the scene, but again, why did you put him in there? Why? And well, no, I guess when we went and saw John after that, we didn't mention the ears or anything, did we? Because I feel like it came up again and it's one of those we would have mentioned it and you would have been like, wait, when that scene happened? You know what I mean? Huh. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But yeah, I just feel like they didn't link up the route properly. So negative points for that one. So, but anyway. Okay, suspicion. I'm like, my loyalty could never hold a candle to your dedication. That's why I respect you. A chill ran down my spine, but judging this was still salvageable, I continued my act. Now that I think about it rationally, if he had truly identified me, he'd have eradicated me, no questions asked. We wouldn't be here. But just as I began regaining my cool, Linus fired off yet another probing question. You praise me a lot. By any chance, are you interested in me? You should just be like, oh, and then blush and act like yes, because... He asked with a scrutinizing look, and my heart thumped heavily against my ribs. What's the right way to answer him? What'll help me worm out of this situation unscathed? No, that's my question. I am, and that's my question. That's my question. I think that'd be fun to say that. Oh, are we already in chapter 3? How did we get to chapter 3? Okay, I swear to God, this happened the other day when I was playing our other game, and I was like, when did we get to this next chapter? And I don't remember seeing the title card and switch over. Did we get to chapter 3 at the end of the last part and I forgot about it? Because I don't remember going to chapter 3, and we're in chapter 3 already? Guys, I must be blacking out like when these title cards come up and the scenes change because I do not remember seeing the chapter 3 thing. Okay, anyway, that's my question, so okay. That's what I wish to ask. Are you interested in me, Lord Linus? This was a bold gamble, but I reflected the question back at him like a challenge. He has to have started feeling attracted to me. If so, returning the question to throw him off kilter just may work. Perhaps he'd never expected that because Linus's eyes widened, and when he couldn't control his expression, he looked away. I love his little shocked face, the giant eyes and the little pouty mouth, like, what? Oh. I'd be lying if I said I'm not. And it's not because you remind me of my first crush or anything like that. You know, it's not helping when you say, it's not because of this. It's not because you remind me of her or anything. I mean, I guess it is, partially. But to be fair, if I were a normal girl, I'd be bothered by that. But because I am your first crush and you just don't know it, can't really be bothered by it. You know what I mean? I'm like, actually, that makes it kind of cuter. That makes me like you a little bit more. Like, come on. If you were a girl in this situation, it's like, it's not because you remind me of the first girl I ever loved. You'd be like, you know, you keep mentioning her, so I'm gonna, like, you're not over her. We're done here. But if you are her and he's like, it's not because you remind me of her, you're like, oh, it's kind of sweet. You never forgot me. And this is a love that will last forever, an eternity. You can never forget me. How adorable, you know? It's not when you're not, it's not adorable when you're not that girl, but when you are, adds to it. I'm drawn to your dignified, unbreakable will, I think. Something I don't have. His answer took me slightly by surprise. Not the part about being drawn to me, but that he'd evaluated himself as weak-willed. I think he would say that because he doesn't have the will to defy the Queen's orders. Remember what John said? Like, the Kusith are like obedient to anyone with Fey blood. Well, any woman with Fey blood. So the queen snaps her fingers and commands, and he follows orders. So technically, if you were Linus, you'd be like, I'm weak willed because I don't have the strength of will to stand up and be like, no, that's wrong. She tells me to break that kid's legs, and I'm like, okay. Even though I'm over here like, maybe that's a bad thing, but but I can't fight it. You know what I mean? He seems like he has a resolute faith in his mission to eliminate threats to the queen. But is that not actually how he feels? I mean, it's one thing to be like, I'm loyal to the queen and I take care of threats to her. It's another to be like, she's psychotic and told me to break that kid's legs. I kind of feel like that's a little extreme. It's one thing to arrest someone and put them in jail. It's another thing to shoot them in the face. You know, not from any like current events or anything. You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, Linus at least has jurisdiction here. Current events. No, you don't. Get fucked. But you know, if he's out there patrolling and doing something and someone goes after the queen and he catches them, jail. You know, like what Alfred did. Okay, we're gonna arrest give him to the yard, or in this case, like we'll put the kid in a nice little place so he's not on the streets, whatever. But Linus being like, I will eviscerate you, it's a little fucking extreme, okay? This is not how we do things, sweetie. But he has no will to stand up against it, so. Both of us fell to silence, but after a brief delay, Linus was the one who shattered it. Anyway, I've already confirmed what I want to check. May I ask what you wish to verify? During this encounter, he'd asked all kinds of questions. For caution's sake, I tried to ask why. Linus released my hand and replied, Exactly what I asked from the beginning. What you're doing here. I've already gotten the answer. Of course, he didn't mean the literal answer I'd given at first. Linus must have come to some sort of conclusion after analyzing our conversation and my reactions. Since he released me, it should be safe to say that I've weathered the storm for now, but it's probably prudent to stop here. If you want to know how the kid's doing, I'm going over to see him, so I'll tell you when I can. I think it's best you head back now. I could decipher the unspoken demand hidden within. Don't linger here. Leave now. Picking my battles, I gave up on my plans. Understood. In that case, I'd be delighted if you could tell me if he's happy and safe. Okay, got it. One last thing. Make sure to remember this. Pausing, Linus stared right into my eyes as if to demonstrate how strong his will was before he spoke. I do and will always put my mission above all else. That's the destiny of those born with the blood of Kusith. Everything I do is for the sake of Her Majesty. I'll do anything it takes. This is the one and only thing that defines me. Whether you're similar to my first crush or not, no matter what my feelings are for you, that's the one thing I can never change. And, I mean, it's so funny because it sounds cunty when he says it. Like, I'll do whatever, so I don't care how much I like you. If she tells me to kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you, bitch. And you're like, you're a horrible human being. But the underlying what he's saying is, this is my mission. That's the thing that I can never change because I have to be obedient to her. I don't have a choice. This is not when people, like modern day people say, I don't have a choice. Yes, you do. You're choosing to do these horrible things because either you enjoy them and you're a psychopath or out of fear or whatever. Sure. But he literally cannot. He is brainwashed in a way to do this, kind of like Lucas was. So, the only time, it's the one thing I can never change, and I'm going to do these things because she commanded it, and he really can't change it. He really has no choice. With that, for the first time today, Linus curled his lips into a soft smile that reminded me of his usual energy. However, it's almost like he's crying. It was an expression I'd never seen before, and my heart ached. I couldn't digest my feelings or his meaning. I left briskly as if someone were chasing me. I mean, again, I think he is crying inside because he's thinking, like, he's got to be thinking of, like, no matter what happens, it doesn't matter how much I feel for you, I'm going to do whatever the queen says. And he's thinking in his mind about the fact that my first love, I was a child, and she's dead because of me. Because I didn't have a choice to tell the queen where she was. Like, this is not, I've decided my loyalty to the queen is more important than other people. I've made a conscious decision that this is what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? I have no choice. She commands, I obey. You're literally a dog. Sit, and the dog sits. Like, even a dog, you sit. I don't really feel like it. I'm not gonna. A dog can choose not to sit. You know what I mean? Linus doesn't have that. It's sit, sits. Almost as it, like, I feel like it's very similar to Lucas, but I'm curious as to how they're gonna, like, differentiate it a little bit. Lucas had a spell put on him, basically, that made him use his fire and, like, where he was kind of, like, not aware of what he was doing. You know? She controlled him that way. Linus, I guess it's just something in his blood that she makes a command, he does it. He's fully aware of what he's doing. So even though he probably didn't want to give us up, he's like, I'm going to, because that's what the queen demanded of me. And it's not like I can't control my body. Like Lucas couldn't control himself. He's just, what the fuck did I do? Oh my God, wait a minute. Or, you're consciously fighting against it. I mean, maybe it is like that with Linus. We don't know. We'll find out. But is it like he's just doing it? She says it and you do it as if you're making the choice for yourself, but you really have no choice. So if you went, I don't want to do this, you're trying to fight against your body and your body is doing it because it was a command given to you by a fae and you are obliged to follow these rules. That's part of your blood and you don't have a choice in the matter. When your brain is like, I don't want to stab this person, but you're stabbing this person? Or, you know what I mean? Because I feel like it kind of feels almost like that he's just compelled to do these things, but is well aware of everything. Whereas, again, Lucas, brainwashed 100%, was like a zombie in that sense, where he was like, what the fuck did I do? Even if he was in the background aware, it's like a different level of, you know what I mean? So, and I feel like that scene, like Linus knows exactly, and he's like, she's dead because of me, but I have no choice in the matter. And he's kind of resigned himself to, this is my job, this is my life, this is what I do, and I'm always going to do it, whatever. And he's kind of like, I don't want to say made peace with it. It's one of those, even if I don't like it, it doesn't matter, so I just have to accept it. I have to accept this is my life. Like, sometimes you just got to accept this is your fucking shit that you live in. You know what I mean? Like, there are moments where you are like, I just have to resign myself to this hellscape. And that's kind of like Linus, and he's just making the best of it. And maybe that's why he's so bubbly and friendly and cute, because inside he's tormented by the fact that he is doing these things that maybe he doesn't agree with. Like, I'm cool with protecting the queen, because maybe he's not an anti-royalist at all. Maybe he's totally like, no, queen's awesome. But maybe he doesn't like the methods he has to go about to protect the queen or whatever. You know what I mean? Like being like, and the queen's like, you'll do whatever it takes. And whatever it takes means breaking legs. And Linus inside is like, I don't like the idea of breaking legs. I mean, I'm going to do whatever it takes, but because she told me to. But like, I wish we could not break legs. So I'm just going to smile and be happy on the outside while I'm, tormented on the inside by the horrible things I'm doing. You know what I mean? But, so maybe that vicious portion is that Kusith blood coming out. Maybe he's really not that I mean, I don't know. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to work out. But knowing that he's not doing this willingly in a way. I mean, maybe it was one of those, I was always willing to do it because that's just my role. I never questioned it. But now he's kind of questioning it because, well, obviously he questioned it probably when he had to kill us the first time. Thought he did. And like now that scene we just saw, like it looked like he was like, maybe was he crying or was he upset? Yes, because he basically told you, if the queen ordered me to kill you, I would do it. And I would hate having to do it, but I would do it. And that's that line, you know what I mean? And he doesn't like it, but that's the line, And again, not because he chose to, because he has to. So that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out when we get further down into the route and toward the end, like, is he going to fight against that? How is he going to get past that? You know what I mean? So, but anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.